Bang in the middle of Budapest city centre is St. Stephens Basilica. And St. Stephen was the patron saint of, I don't know, giant buildings or something.
He was actually very important, and the marble was imported from the Carrara region in northern Tuscany.
They say if you stand in the exact centre and spin around, you get to make a wish. Yeah, I wish I hadn't bothered, to be honest with you. Bullshit.
Yeah, so just a little bit of warning about if you're going to go into St. Stephen's Basilica. There's some old fella at the door trying to scrounge donations out of people. I'm like, yeah man, you think I'm going to give money to the fucking church? The day the church pays my country back for the fucking hundreds of years of bullshit. Yeah man, the inside is made of gold. You don't need my 200 forints.
Kick, like
dirty robbing bastards.
It's the world's shittest travel show. Get your shit, it's time to go. Get your fattest off the floor and get outside the fucking door. We're going to meet new faces, see new places, make faux pas, try not to be accidentally racist. All of the equipment is shit, the audio shit, the video shit, the general cinematography, it's all shit. So if you didn't know, now you know. Tally ho, welcome to the world's shittest travel show. Andrassy Avenue is the grandest boulevard in all of Budapest. You can think of it as a Hungarian Champs-Élysées. Now recognised as a World Heritage Site, it was built in 1872 to connect the inner city with the city park. And it holds some of Budapest's grandest and most beautiful buildings, like the grand and beautiful Opera House right behind me here. Oh, incredible architecture. Wow, gorgeous, incredible. It's a bit of a trek all the way to the park. So in the meantime, I think we should have a little history lesson, huh? So first things first. Budapest was originally 3 separate towns which all got joined together. Buda, Pest and Óbuda. Pest on the east bank, Buda on the west, and Óbuda somewhere else, I imagine. The area was first settled by my boys, the Celts, way back in the BC.
Yeah, we're the Celts.
Next thing, the original Nazis, the Romans, rocked up and presumably raped and hacked their way through the locals.
Fucking fools.
Then, in the 5th century, Attila the Hun, that son of a gun, put those scum on the run to the beat of a drum. Good luck to you.
I'm Attila.
Then the real Hungarian history begins with the arrival in 896 of the 7 tribes and the 7 chieftains of the Magyar people who came down from the Urals. Then the Hungarian fun begun.
Come here, I'll pillage you.
Many of the grandest and most beautiful buildings in the city were built along this way to commemorate 896. And sure, why not, you know? 1,000 years, a millennium. This is going into Lord of the Rings type timeline territory here. Then for 1,000 years, the tide rolled in and the tide rolled out.
You can't explain that. You can explain why the tide goes in.
Tide goes in, tide goes out.
See, the water, the tide comes in and it goes out, Mr. Silverman.
Then the Mongols rolled through, as they do, with the old rape and pillage. In 1526, the Ottoman forces of Suleiman the Magnificent, who probably chose his own name, I reckon, but they sauntered in, and in 5041, Budapest was incorporated into the Ottoman Empire, and this lasted 150 years. What an absolute dose. Then loads of buildings were built, loads of buildings were destroyed, lots of people were born, lots of people were killed. Misery and hope. And all the while the Danube just keeps on rolling, untroubled by the trivialities of man. And then more things happened.
1970 something. 1970 something. 1970 something. 1970 something.
1974, the most important date in all of Budapest's history, the invention of the Rubik's Cube by Budapest's famous son, Mr. Cube.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Hero Square, a square for heroes. On the giant plinth behind me is representations of the 7 chieftains of the 7 tribes of Magyars. And interesting one about these lads, when they got together, they had a blood pact where essentially they all cut their veins, put it into a bowl, mixed it up with wine, and went on the lash for Hungary.
Once upon a time, 7 tribes, 7 chieftains went out for pints on a midsummer's evening. Bounced around the pub, then they bounced around the region, century to century and season to season, scheming and thieving and being in the streets.
Man, I just drank a pint of blood and I'm steaming.
We're heading out west, so where's Stephen?
Are you looking for a spin?
Cause I buzz when you're leaving.
The square's got an interesting history. A lot of weird shizzle went down here. In 1989, when the hero of the Hungarian people, Imre Nagy,
It's Nudge.
a lad who was assassinated by the communists 31 years before, when the ceremony was happening here to rebury him, up to 250,000 people showed up, and this freaked the Soviets the hell out, and it actually was crucial in the downfall to the regime in Hungary. So go on, the lads. This one here is the gingerbread house, where unattended children are slaughtered and eaten ritually annually.
Are you coming to the gingerbread house? Are you coming to the gingerbread house? We getting loud in the gingerbread house. We getting down in the gingerbread house.
Here we have another august titan of Hungarian history. The old fella who liked to look at trees. They say he liked to look at trees so much that they built a statue of him looking at trees. Hungary. Why are you still watching this? And of course, no visit to Budapest is complete without a trip to the Turkish baths. I'm unfortunately banned from any public bathing area throughout Europe because of some unfounded allegations. Really, really unfounded allegations. Plus, I'm down to my last pair of jocks, so we're going to have to give it a miss. However, if you do want to see a bunch of old fat men sweating in very little attire, I've got a couple of websites that you can visit, and I'm going to put them in the link below.
Nice market.
Gaddafi, Osama, Saddam and Obama and Michael Jackson. Oh man, one. Fair enough. Oh, don't forget about yourself. There you go. Ave May. Ave May. Ave May. Her name was Paprika. Oh boy, you should have seen her. Hot like a tamale and sleek like a cheetah. Her fella was a vegan and too weak to please her. The stakes was high, I stepped up, pleased to meet ya. I like to eat meat, goatine, you know me. See, I like eating meat for the high protein, and I won't beat around the bush when I'm hanging on a feeling. I like my meat when it's hanging from a ceiling, but I worry about the state of my soul when I stare at the meats on my plate, on my bowl. Cause I know global erosion of hope is exploding. Too much meat, I worry about the state of my hole. The Amazon's on fire, eat me. The ocean's getting higher, eat me. We won't live to retire, eat me. Goose meat, dear me, dearie me. Guess where we're going now? We're going to that thing over there.
Sometimes in life you'll cross an obstacle. Keep walking up the hill, keep walking up the hill.
So, climbing a hill again, trying to get up to Cittadella. It's a huge, massive communist monument on pretty much the biggest hill overlooking Budapest. I have to try and get up there before sunset because this camera is absolutely shit, and because I need a few pints. Christ, I need to give up the fags.
It's time to give up the fags and keep walking up the hill, keep walking up the hill, keep walking up the hill.
Once again, sweating the goulash, Durham donors and pints clean out of me. Fuck's sake.
You're the only one that can walk up your hill, keep walking up the hill, keep walking up the hill.
This fucking never ending, by Jesus Christ. Oh, and there she is. Your man behind me beating the shit out of a dragon. I didn't come all the way up here for animal abuse.
Animal abuse at the top of the hill, at the top of the hill, at the top of the hill. Animal abuse at the top of the hill. When you get to the top of the hill, then you can sit and chill, then you can sit and chill. But when you get to the top of the hill, you realize it's not as cool as you thought it was.
Just beautiful, isn't it? It'll bring a tear to your ear. Alright, enough of this. I'm off for pints.
Bum 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 bum. Motherfuckers, it's been a long and a sweaty day around Budapest. Here come the pines, creamy, creamy. Here come the pines, and I say I like 'em.